I'm in standard tuning, nothing special here. A nice kind of not over the top distortion. Kind of just enough to get the job done, if you know what I mean, okay? So this is a blues tune. I'm not covering Martin's brief solo in the middle. That's just a go for it, ad-libby, improvised thing. I'll talk about the scale that he uses, of course, but this is the kind of tune that I would encourage my students to just jam out on, right? So anyway, let's start with the opening riff. You want to play it a little bit quieter. You might even back off a little bit if you want to, but it's played like so. So you can see everything on the tab there. So the only thing I would mention is that slightly bent note, that quarter note bend. You kind of do it at the end of the attack, right? Hit the note solid and then let it go. And that will sound pretty sweet. Now, there's a bit of layering of the guitars going on here. So the way I played it on the demo out the gate is kind of moshing the parts together. But if you want, once it kicks in, you can just play that riff. But if you want to add the other guitar in, then that's the way I did it in the demo. And you can see it on the tab right here. So all I'm doing is adding that power chord, of course. Kind of slide off it a little bit and then play that lick an octave higher. But the approach is exactly the same. Wait a little bit before you do that quarter note bend. And you want to play that 4 times, and then on the 5th time, return to the lower octave 1 time. And then Ian starts singing, the vocal comes, right? So what we have so far, the whole intro and that part right there is... And then we have this. All right, so what's happening there is that's where the vocal comes in and the line changes from to same amount of notes, 5 notes, and you kind of slide into it. And again, if you just want to play the riff without the power chord, without adding that second guitar part in there, you can play it like this. Just hit your open E string at the end and then play the... So you would have... But with that power chord, of course, it would take the place of the open E string. And that sounds pretty cool, right? You do that 4 times, and then sort of like the other part on the last one, it leads into the next section. So you go... And it leads into the power chords. The power chords are really simple. We've got A, E, C, back to E, G, A again, C again. So starting from where the vocal comes in, we would have this. and so forth. So a couple of notes here. During the guitar solo, they're just kind of jamming out on a pedal tone E, right? If you want to play something underneath that, if you don't fancy playing the lead, or you're just being the rhythm guy for another guy. Something as simple as that will do, and you can mix it up. Just hanging with that E blues scale is perfectly fine. And again, as I said out the gate, this is the kind of tune that I would just encourage my students to jam out on. That's basically what Martin's doing, right? He's just kind of going for it. Probably never playing the same thing every night. But you just want to hang with that E minor pentatonic scale. And just play some crazy cool stuff. Lots of hammer-ons, pull-offs, classic rock stuff, right? Okay, so let's talk about the ending of the song and what happens there, okay? First, I'll go ahead and play it. They come off of the chorus, but they do this cool little loop, okay? At the end, okay? So what they're doing is they're playing through the chorus, but they don't go back to that C chord. They come off of the A chord the second time around. I'll play it real slow. And they go into that part of the riff. So if I do the whole thing slowly, it'll be just like this. Right off of that second A chord, they go right into this. And then they go right into this. So it doesn't have that same breath that it has when you play the main riff by itself. Then they go back to G and they do it again. Back to G again. They hang out on C for a while, and then and that's it, okay? So let me play that whole outro one more time, just so it hopefully makes sense. Something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see everybody again real soon.